Yes. Welcome to another great show of APN TV Media. We got a lot in store for you today. As a matter of fact, one of the guests, I've known her for almost, from anywhere from almost 15 to 18 years. She's dynamic. I mean, we both started out like pups, but I'm telling you, she's an all-star. I'm talking about an all-star. She has over 45 books. She has 3 more books that's going to be on its way. She also, this book we're talking about now is written, that she written called Beautiful. And without no introduction, I would like to introduce you to Sylvia after these programs.
The world's greatest treasure trove sits in Vatican City, Europe's most famous locale. Because the Vatican is a walled, closely guarded fortress, everyone believes it is impossible to rob. Until now. From the author who brought readers the compelling thrillers Satan's Stronghold, Jericho's Trumpet, The Armageddon Virus, and God's Domain, comes a suspenseful thriller that will keep readers turning pages. A powerful Vatican cardinal is obsessed with becoming the next pope. A young idealistic priest discovers a Vatican conspiracy, plunging he and beautiful Italian gymnast Darlene Aldonzo into a whirlpool of danger and desperation. American jewel thief Craig Reynolds has robbed jewelry establishments and wealthy chateaus all over Europe, aborting the most sophisticated security systems and vanishing without a trace. Now, Craig Reynolds will methodically manipulate the players and events to make the impossible possible. He will rob the Vatican. But will he sacrifice Darlene Aldonzo, the woman he initially deceived, but now loves? Find out in this action-filled thriller novel by Robert Kelland, Rob the Vatican, available on eBook at www.robertkelland.com.
Sylvia, it's a blessing to have you on the show. Definitely. I mean, my goodness. You were just a pup and you had it going on. I remember you said at Russell Bazaar.
Yes.
At the booth and everything, and you just kept expounding. You're definitely a dedicated individual.
Yeah.
Dedicated. What I can't figure out is how you doing these books like that in, 3 months?
Yeah,
and you
pretty much.
You're a natural. You're a gifted natural.
It's always, I guess I have to thank my mom because a lot of times she was always used to, she said when I was 6 or 7, I used to come in and I would lie to her really bad. And then she would, of course, give me my butt whooping within an inch of my life and then make me go write my lie down and come back and tell her the lie again. And I just started seeing that it was better on paper, well, less painful on paper than it was telling her. And, you know, my pain became my pleasure and just started writing stories and, you know, sharing them with the world. I stopped lying. That's probably why I have a lot of friends. But I write a lot. You just get into that storytelling mode and just love it. And, you know, once it becomes a passion, you know, that's it. That's where you can find all the pleasure at once you find your passion.
Yeah, and you took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Definitely took it to a whole nother level. Plus, you all these are you. I mean, I've noticed you had all of you had the SylviaHubbard.com, so I want you to know that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw these listings up to you, to everybody here. Right. It's SylviaHubbard.com. MotownWriters.com. I'm not sure if that's still up or
not. It's still MotownWriters.com. Yes, I've had that for forever.
And the Michigan Literary Network.com. Hubbooks.biz.
Right. And then it's howtoebook.org. And then I have MotownMomsMusings.com. I'm an avid blogger. I'm an avid blogger, so I run various websites for different platforms, not only just to get, you know, my word out or, you know, my message out in search engine optimization, but also because I just love writing. I have a deep passion for it, and sharing, you know, being an asset instead of a liability is always good to me. And, you know, that's what I want to try to do, is try to help wherever I can, whenever I can.
You do. Like, how do you find time?
Yeah, because I'm a single mom, and, you know, and I still run a large organization, and I still write. And since I am an independent publisher, I wear all the hats. So, but I just I've kind of got a system where instead of thinking, you know, you have only 24 hours in a day, or you only have you know, many minutes in a day, I just break it down by seconds. And you seem to have a lot of seconds in one day. And you're able to do a lot more when you think of that. You know, things kind of slow down. And you kind of see where you need to be and how many seconds this takes and how many seconds this takes to what I can actually accomplish in a day. So you just learn how to just, you know, slow your roll and try to get things done as much as possible.
You're incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, and I'm you know, I'm scared to say this book. I can say this book, beautiful, is beautiful.
Aww,
I mean, it's exquisite. It's a work of art, and that's what I'm like. My gosh, how is she doing it? But now, that kind of an interesting secret that you have, that you actually putting whatever you're going through, or the emotions, like you say, or, you know, the word lie, you put it on paper.
Right, you just put it on paper.
Put it on paper.
I always tell people I'm much interesting on paper than I am in real life. I'm really boring. So, you know, I live vicariously through my characters, because, you know, there's not much you can do out in the world without getting in real trouble. So I was like, okay, can I get into fake trouble? So I just put it on paper. It's a lot of fake trouble. After 40 books, I figure it's a lot of fake trouble out there.
I had lost count after the first, after 18, then I said 20-something books?
Yeah.
And I'm going 20-something. I'm like, and then she said, no, I got 45, and I got 3 more. I'm going, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where? Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. You are incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You are incredible. You know what? It's funny, I want to get into this one particular book, but you have so many.
Well,
I mean, I want everybody to know that you're a connoisseur in this. Your gifted ability to bring out romance. Right. Matter of fact, in your romance, like beautiful. I think if correct me if I'm wrong, suspense thriller as well.
Right. It's a medical suspense thriller. This one is, and I deal with a lot of suspense. I'm more of a, you know, I make people fall in love and then I kill them, not necessarily in that order. But it's always been an interest of me to, not only because as we don't live 2-dimensional lives, we live a full 3-dimensional life. So when you do fall in love, I want it to be as real as possible. When we fall in love, we don't just all of a sudden have all the time in the world to just concentrate on this love affair. It's always families going on or personal problems.
Yes.
And all of that's going on in the book, but then I throw a layer of suspense on it where either someone's about to die, someone has committed a crime, just some sort of suspense element is going on, and it all moves the story forward. So I try to weave at least 4 different stories with 2 characters trying to fall in love throughout this drama and suspense and mystery, and just try to keep it going and keep you just turning the page until the very end.
Wow.
So, and that's in all 40 novels, I believe. A lot of my readers call me the cliffhanger queen, because usually at the end of a chapter there is a cliffhanger, because you got to go to the next chapter. I always leave, for some reason, I always leave it as a cliffhanger. So it's kind of fun, because even for me, as I'm writing it, I'm in suspense. I don't know what's going on. I want to write more, because I am a pantser, and a lot of people who don't know what a pantser is, you're either a plotter or a pantser as a writer. So you either sit down and you plot your writing out, you do your outline, but pantsers literally just take a blank piece of paper and start writing. And that's what I do. So I literally, people will say, well, what are you working on now? And I'll tell them, and they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And I don't know. When I sit down again, I'll let you know. So I don't even know.
Wow, that's like it's like a movie writer.
Well, that is, it's like, and it's interesting that that she said that there's cliffhangers all the time. Well, she's not old enough to remember this, but in the old Majestic Theater on the East Side, where my grandparents took me as a kid, and the old Dick Tracy serials, right at the end of each serial, Dick Tracy was going to get killed. In the beginning of the next one, you see how he gets out of it. But it always looks like he's going to die right at the end. And that reminded me, what she wrote reminded me so much of that. And the title Beautiful, there were a couple of things about, I was wondering how much this had to do with beauty, and it also reminded me of the poem that is so famous by John Keats, Ode to a Grecian Urn, which concludes with the lines, truth is beauty, beauty truth. That is all you know on earth and all you need to know.
Ooh.
Oh, I should say, I reversed it. Beauty is truth, truth beauty. Right. That is all you know on earth and all you need to know.
All you need to know. Right. Wow.
So that's one of, I think, the most famous quotes in all of poetry.
And I actually did. I studied those serials because Stephen King was a fan of those, and it was really interesting because he wrote like a whole bunch of short stories that ended, in kind of cliffhangers. And it was always interesting to see, how they would go and keep audiences coming back, week after week after. I think you were just you really wanted by the time Dick Tracy to just die. Like, come on, really? But yes, I've always been a fan of just the cliffhanger process of building the suspense and everything. So just taking romance, weaving that around a great suspense, it's really been a fun ride for me as a writer, and knowing that readers all over the world just enjoy my works. It's really been interesting, And then on top of that, I love to research things. So inside of Beautiful and inside of a lot of novels, I've researched, either what my character does or the scenario itself. In this one, it's kind of like, I went back to medical, where she's actually, the main character, Madison, splices DNA for plants. So I actually had to go and research how to use splice DNA for plants, because she wants to create to relieve hunger solutions, where if you want a pineapple to grow in Detroit, a Hawaiian pineapple to grow in Detroit, the seed wouldn't know the difference. You could plant it and it would grow just like it would in Hawaii. If you want an Idaho potato in Detroit, or in the desert or anywhere else, the seed wouldn't know the difference. You would be able to take these seeds and plant them anywhere and create sustainable plants wherever you go. Well, this was her life's work. I mean, and it was great studying the process, great seeing the potential of, okay, this could possibly happen, where it was believable. And this was all her life's work. She had been working on this since she was like in middle school, and now she's, you know, going on 30 and getting a chance to get this huge grant. All she has to do is do this final presentation. But of course, as we all perceive in the 21st century, a lot of women have this beauty issue. A lot of them don't feel that they are beautiful enough, you know, with the outside forces, with how they're treated, you know, with how society views us. You know, a lot of women think that, you know, their beauty is all on the outside. So she goes looking for beautiful in all the wrong places. She ends up where her work is stolen right from under her. And it's either, you know, this where the suspense comes in, who done it? The whodunit comes in of, was it the new lover who made her feel beautiful, or was it, you know, people she trusted? So she has to go and not only find her research, but find her beautiful, which of course she had all along, was inside. So it's a journey within herself to find out the truth of everything.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Incredible. And I tell you what, we're going to show you a trailer of Beautiful.
Yes.
And we'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
And let you know that we will have, matter of fact, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and put your trailer. What we just saw our trailer, which is, you gonna have any more trailers coming out pretty soon?
Of course, usually I try for every book, have a trailer, to get people interested and get that promotion going.
Okay.
I've seen they've been very effective in getting people to just a taste of it and then saying, hey, I do want to buy this. So.
Very good. If you don't mind, we'll add that into our collection of PSA commercials. So
Thank
yes.
you. Oh,
so we'll put you on there. We'll get you on there. Also, there's more we'll talk about in the near future and networking, because you're incredible, and plus promotionals with your books.
Right.
I had to say books, plural.
Books, yeah.
Yes,
I have
books.
workshops actually coming up on March 17th. I'll be in the Detroit Public Library, and you can visit my website at sylviahubbard.com and find out. And it's a publishing and marketing workshop. So.
I'll let you read some viewers know.
But you
let
can
them know.
come. It's the Cheney branch in Detroit, March 17th at noon. And you can go to sylviahubbard.com and find out all the information. And if you RSVP in advance, you actually get a really detailed resource about publishing and marketing, and we'll go through and answer all your questions.
Wow, see? That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now I can ask this.
Okay.
Because since you were studying, it's botany.
Botany.
Isn't it? It's botany. Mm-hmm. Not lobotomy, botany.
Right.
Okay.
I haven't got that far yet.
Okay, there we go. The studying that you're doing, you're actually doing this yourself. You're actually taking the time to
go and research it.
Like the doctor. Go ahead, explain it to us.
Yeah, it's especially with the internet now. It's I don't have to drag the kids to the library anymore. So now I can, go online and do the research, see the videos, see how genes are spliced, and it was really an interesting process, a very detailed process. And actually, from studying and researching it, that created the twist in the book of, how she found everything out. She was able to, talk good game. And it's so funny because when I do these research projects, and then people come and ask me, well, do you really know about that? And I can actually carry on a conversation, about the subject, and they're like, oh, wow. Okay. But I mean, I am her when I'm writing the book. I am Madison. So I have to know my stuff, because I'm the character at that time. So. Yeah, it's so weird because you become so many people, after a while you're like, oh, okay, all these voices. And I think that's, either you go crazy or you write them, so.
Write them out. Yeah.
Right.
She writes the voices out on paper.
Write the voices out.
And we read them.
It's kind of cool. It's really cool. But I do enjoy it. I love learning things. So, and then teaching things and just making it fun to learn things. So this is a great way for me to, like I said, be an asset instead of a liability. So.
Yes, I mean, all your books here, well, of course, I've known your other books way in the beginning, but you made it to where it's so realistic. Yeah. And that's because actually you apply, you're thorough. Yeah. So you apply, you research. Not only that, I don't know if you even realize that with your own self, is that you actually, it's thought out, it's mapped out in your head already. Yeah. I mean, we're doing outlines, this and there sometimes, but yet when you're writing, your passion of writing, your ability, your creative writing, that you actually take the story when you stop, you go somewhere and start studying. Yeah, basically.
And you see the story in your head. You see everything.
But when you detail certain things that we can say, no, that the doctor didn't have a butter knife, he had a scalpel. Right. You're actually, it's like a scalpel, or the time taken to do certain things. Right. So that we know, because we can relate to it then. Yeah, we can relate to it. We can actually relate. It becomes real
to you as well. Yes.
Very good.
And that's funny because, like, when I'm telling my kids as they're growing up, then they're learning how to lie. I'm learning how to detect it. I'm telling my son, I was like, well, when a girl is lying is when she's telling you too much detail, right? And he's like, he said he was in a situation and his teacher, who was a female, she started saying something and it was too detailed. And he just flat out called her a liar. He said, that's just that's impossible. And she got mad at him for he caught her at a lie. He says, well, my mom taught me to catch people.
Oh, wait. She caught him?
He caught her in a lie. And she didn't like it because I had taught him how to catch, because, you know, now I'm a professional liar. I write lies down. I can find a lie in everything, but as a storyteller, that is what I do, is that I get paid to write lies down. So I can teach.
Don't worry, everybody, we're not trying to take it out of content.
Not out of content, but as storytellers, you learn human, and then as a writer, you automatically learn people's facial features, you learn breathing techniques, you learn touching techniques.
Yes.
You just learn the human body, because that's what I want to put on paper. I want to put you in a story, make you forget about the rest of the world, and bring you into my world and make you feel like this is all that matters.
Wow.
Well, that sounds good.
Yes, but and you know, not always the LIE word.
LIE.
Well, you know,
we live in the world she writes, but don't put our mind to where that's all she is, a pathological liar.
It was very early Christmas morning, and in the stillness of the dawn, with the soft snow falling on the housetops, a little child was born in the Bird household. Bird's Nest, December 21st. Dear Mr. Wilkie, I am the little girl who lives next door to the church, and, as I seldom go out, the music on practice days and Sundays is one of my greatest pleasures. I want to know if you can have Carol Brothers' Carol on Christmas night, and if the boy who sings My Own Country so beautifully may please sing that too. I think it is the loveliest thing in the world, but it always makes me cry. Doesn't it you? If it isn't too much trouble, I hope they can sing them both quite early, as after 10 o'clock I may be asleep. Yours respectfully, Carol Bird. P.S. The reason I like Carol Brothers' Carol is because the choir boys sang it 11 years ago, the morning I was born, and put it into Mama's head to call me Carol. She didn't remember that my other name would be Bird, because she was half asleep and could only think of one thing at a time. Donald says if I had been born on the 4th of July, they would have named me Independence, or if on the 22nd of February, Georgina, or even Cherry, like Cherry and Martin Chuzzlewit. But I like my own name and birthday best. Yours truly, Carol Bird. Red Rose Audiobooks, in cooperation with the Audio Production Network at Spoken Realms, presents the unabridged production of The Bird's Christmas Carol, written by Kate Douglas Wiggin, narrated by Marnie Young.
Dream and goals well, I would be a hypocrite if I wasn't doing the same thing. And I told myself that day, seeing her, I am going to publish a book. I am going to show my children that you can reach your dreams and goals. I'm not going to wait till I retire. I'm not going to wait till, you know, hey, they grow up. I'm not going to wait till all this time. I'm going to start now. And from then, like by 2000, I had published my first book. And from then, it's just been a roller coaster of a ride of learning the publishing game, learning marketing, learning, you know, just the whole everything. And I'm always continuing learning how to write better, how to write more, how to bring things to my audience that they would never expect. So
you mean to tell me? Well, yeah. You mean to tell me? Okay, your first book came out in 2000.
My first book came out in 2000.
So, oh my gosh. So when I met you, you had 3 books out or 2 books out?
Yeah, I had probably about 2
books out. Wow,
yeah.
Incredible. I knew it. You started as a
Yes.
pup and just excelled.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
But you know, it's all a learning curve, and once you get past the curve, you know, all you do is just add on. You just keep adding on and become a benefit to others. So then you can just, because I always tell people, you cannot be,
you're
but you
gifted.
cannot be a master without students. So you have to reach back and help other people, and you learn more. It just pushes you even forward. So that's all I do is I reach back and I help other people, and then I learn more and grow more. So that's pretty much all I do.
So what inspired you to develop these publishing and advertising organizations?
Well, for Motown Writers, it pretty much started the same time I published my book. I found out that, you know, it wasn't a lot of literary education in Detroit. At that time during 2000, a lot of writing organizations were moving out. A lot of publishers were moving away from Detroit. It wasn't a lot of literary education going around. And trying to find out, okay, as a mom, you know, as a single parent, I couldn't afford to go to the big conferences. I couldn't afford to go all of there, but I could, you know, go online, or I could learn from other people. So I created Motown Writers Network because authors wouldn't tell me how they did stuff unless I paid for one of their workshops, and I couldn't afford it. So what I would do is, like, I would say, hey, can I interview you? And you give an author the opportunity to interview you, they tell you all their business. And they'll tell you all the secrets to do things. So that's what I would do. Well, other people wanted to know the same secrets, and I would publish these on my website. And they started subscribing to the website. They started thinking, you know, hey, she knows a little something. But it was only because I needed to know those information. And my mom said, you know, just go out and ask. Just ask people, you know, eventually they're going to answer your question somehow, some kind of way. So, and that's what I would do, is just basically ask a question and get it answered until I could take that knowledge and use it for myself. So yeah, it's very cool. And I do encourage everyone. And people come to me and say, oh, you know so much. And I said, because I asked. I asked the question. You just keep asking. You keep finding knowledge. You keep remaining curious. And that's how you grow. That's how you keep going.
That's incredible.
So stemming from Bob's question, from his question of, you know, building the organization,
yes,
you know, we started just, you know, interviewing authors, and then I started focusing on, you know, readers as well, because readers wanted to know about the authors. So we started creating more literary events around Metro Detroit, and we became this wonderful organization that helps writers get to their literary goals and then connect readers to Michigan authors. So, you know, we've been growing. We've been around 17 years. We've developed over 100,000 newsletter listserv where we're giving information out to libraries, to readers, book clubs, but also still sharing publishing and writing and marketing knowledge to writers as well. because that's an ongoing, especially with the changing technology, with things moving so fast and things you could do better, work smarter, not harder. As a writer, I mean, and be able to equal large publishers, you know, to be, you know, from 2000, where it was so hard as an indie publisher to get your book on a bookshelf.
Yes.
Whereas now, you know, people are starving for indie publishers because, you know, we can get the work out, we can get the work closer to the reader faster, you know, and even large publishers are even jealous of our reach to our readers faster. So, you know, I always tell people, you know, there's no way, no how that you were given a gift by God and he not give you the tools already to get to your purpose. And I tell people, God doesn't fix problems. He gets you to your purpose. You already have the tools you needed from birth to fix that problem, to get to your purpose. You just got to use them.
You know, what you're talking about, how people are denying themselves something when they choose not to read fiction, I think it's very true, because every piece of fiction has some truth in it that maybe you didn't see elsewhere, but it comes out more in this piece of fiction. So now you've learned something that you can use, or like in one fiction book I read, it talked about a town in South Dakota where in the wintertime it was 40 below zero. In the summertime, it went up to 110. I thought, that's way too big a temperature range for me to ever go there.
Right.
And I thought, that's an area I'm staying away from. So I don't need that.
Right, definitely. But a lot of good fiction is actually wrapped around a very determined truth, a very substantial, grounded truth. And then the lie is placed around that. And it makes good fiction because you're sustaining, as long as you sustain that this truth matters, this truth will be all truth, you got a great story going on. So, I mean, that's why, like I said, I encourage people to read fiction. You know, you're exercising your brain, number one, that's very important. And number two, you're educating yourself about the world around you. So.
Well, true. And all fiction is based, at least in part, on something that actually happened.
Right.
You know, the experiences people had, and like Joseph Wambaugh was a former detective, and he's written these fiction novels about detectives and the problems they run into. And well, where did he learn that?
From being a...
He was, he was a detective.
Right.
So the same thing. There was a guy who was an FBI agent up in Detroit. And when he retired, he started writing fiction. And some of the fiction is so interesting, and, you know...
well, that's because it was from Detroit.
Well...
that's definitely, you just
that
might as
probably
well
has something to do with it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One thing I did had to, and to the viewers and readers, that I had to correct myself somewhere. It's not the IPA, it's called the IBPA, and Independent Book Publisher Association.
Yes.
So we said indie publisher, and what it is now, because the traditionals had changed an avenue, and it's kind of sad because they went a little dark by going into the independent publisher, like self-publishing,
right?
And it takes away from the authors.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
We spent, if you think about it, we kind of spent all these years hoping to get a traditional publisher before all this happened, and we never had the break. My mother, I went through this. I went through when I first started. I went through it. I mean, and you know, I had to wait a year to 2 books. I had to wait every 6 months until they decide to either publish it or not.
Right. And
then they say, "Oh, we like your book, but it's too many authors on our plate." First they said it was too many fruit on our plate, and I said, "What is that? Too many fruit?" So I called them. I said, "That didn't make no sense." They wrote it. I still have those letters, you know, from traditionals. So I called them, and they said, "No, we meant to say too many authors on our plate." I said, "Oh, okay."
Right.
So what happened is, and you're right. So what happened is the technology has changed. Where then we are no longer, like, those are gifted like yourself. Don't have to worry about that with them. So, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway, because you don't want somebody, especially a publishing house, to bring you down like you can't do anything when God has blessed you with a very powerful gift and the tools to be able to put it all together. Now, as authors are rising up, then they're saying, well, if they're not going to us as traditionals, well, I'll tell you what, since they're becoming independent, let's get our independent type of system to bring them in and list them as though they are with us. And that's what Simon & Schuster has done, and that's where the news came out, because they called it a robber going to, it's like a robber going to dinner.
But anytime, and I do, that's why we do try to do educational workshops for authors or writers, because we want them to be able to understand it's cheaper if you just do it yourself. It's, just gaining the knowledge, buying a $13.99 book, the self-publishing manual, and just reading it from cover to cover, and then going out and doing it yourself. You will save so much work, so much time and trouble than trying to go through these companies and thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get this this traditionally published deal.
Yes.
Do it yourself, get your stuff together, run your business, become that authorpreneur.
Yes.
Get the work out, have the royalties coming in, show that you can get the readers, and they'll come to you. Don't worry about going to them.
Yes.
Do you, and they will come, And
yes, well, if you build it, they will come.
And if you work on it,
positivity.
Let's
positive
add
brings
if
positive.
you work on it, because a lot of people think if I build it, if I publish that book, people are just going to just be knocking
don't work
at my
like
door.
that.
But they don't read the fine print. Is you work on it, they will come. So you do have to work on it, because now that you're an authorpreneur, people don't realize, well, you have to spend at least 6 to 8 hours a day working this business. It's a small business, so you do have to work those hours to get the readers, to get the sales, and then to keep publishing more work. You can't. You just can't stop.
This is what we're getting at. The IBPA is also changing because they have to change with the time. Since all this happened, now they're starting to gravitate more to saying, okay, they can go to the authors, the self-publishers, or they say the independent, to find out. This is a good thing, and say, hey, well, let's take a look at your work, or let's see, like for independent publishers like yourself, they're opening the doors more now, because I said yesterday, I'm looking at it right now. They had opened a 10-point system like for here hybrid publishers. They have finally opened these doors. What I'm getting at, because it was hard back then for both of us, and so we are both ends of the coin trying to move up while all these conglomerates were just taken over, and then they started causing other companies to shut down. Same with bookstores, and now bookstores are becoming publishers. But did you ever catch on to this? The authors had won, technically. If you think about it.
But they didn't
we did not say no. We got up and kept writing.
Right.
And when we kept writing, they had no choice but with actually succumbing to our abilities that we will keep going forward. We were launching out. Remember I was selling out from the truck. There was
back of my trunk.
Yes, that was the publishing game back then.
Right.
Yes, they used to laugh at us because we would sell it out from the back.
Now they encourage it.
Yeah, thank you.
Now they encourage.
Now they're encouraging it. Isn't that something?
But it's a great thing that I'm able to reach my readers faster. I'm able to be in control of my work. I'm able to see a profit, from my work instead of waiting 3 to 6 months to see a check. I know that I'm going to get something, every month coming in. And as a single mom, having that great drip income to know, like, if something happens, I got my book sales coming in, and that's awesome for me. So it was always a great way to not only, feed my passion, but also create a profit. And it's been a wonderful journey, and to show my children that I could do it, you know, and that, you know, if you have a dream and you have a goal, you know, you could do it too. So it's, you know, it's really great as a mom and as a writer to just see them growing and knowing that, you know, hey, I did it, you can do it. So I always tell people there's nothing you can do. If you want to do it, you just do it. So that was the best advice Beverly Jenkins could have ever given me. And to this day, you know, we do see each other, you know, in the rounds and everything, and she's still my shero. But it's nice to say that, you know, she's seen that all of I've accomplished from her advice. And, you know, she turned around one day and she's like, you're my shero too. So it was kind of cool that she came back and said that. I was like, oh, I was so touched.
You know, I'm surprised you didn't take some of your books over to BET.
Well, no, I had got approached by I've gotten approached by different publishers.
Okay, no. Like for movies.
I've been approached by that.
Okay,
and it's just like a slow work. It's really slow work. You know, once you start talking and then you're then the audience, see if they like it, then go back and do the rewrites and things like that. So you're like, it's a long process, but we'll see. We'll see for the future.
Well, you know, because there's a friend of mine you're probably watching from BET, one of the executives, producers, and I'm trying to hit you up on a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, just like you, and see if you check out her work. That's what I was looking at. Aww. See if you can check out her work for me on my behalf in the show.
Sweet.
Just to see, because she's incredible. So I had to throw that out there because I know you're probably watching. So yeah.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Not a problem. And also, I want before we close out, you know what? Actually, before we close out, because I do want you to come back again.
Oh, okay.
If you don't mind, we'd love to have you back. Right, Bob?
Nothing to do but right.
Yes, we would love to have her back.
Okay. And Bob, do you have the listings for us that you can put out to the readers and viewers? All of her networks?
All of her networks.
Yes.
It's a lot of networks.
We've got, let's see what we've got here. Well, there's some events here. March Women's Literary Brunch. Right. December.
Those are our annual events.
Holiday Literary Gathering. Mm-hmm. Okay, now.
Websites, Bob. Websites.
He's going.
Front page, Bob. Front page.
Front page. Websites?
Is it on there?
Well, we've got Sylvia Hubbard at gmail.com. MotownWriters.com.
Yes.
SylviaHubbard.com. Mm-hmm. howtoebook.org. Mm-hmm. And
it says AA.
Oh, hubbooks.biz.
Yep.
Howtoebook.org again. Mm-hmm. That's all I see up here.
The AA actually sold it to someone.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
Well, congratulations!
Incredible.
I guess.
Oh.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, I was trying to get a lot of stuff off my plate, you know, and build up more Motown writers. So I said, I'm going to just focus on Michigan authors. Just Michigan authors alone. You know, if you can buy a car here to help the economy, you can also buy a book here by a local author. So that's even better.
True.
Hey,
and it goes right back into the economy. So I want my Michigan authors to be known. And I have a love for reading and writing, and you know, I love that people want to read, you know, need to read and should read. Well, on a daily basis.
Don't be surprised, because I'm going to end up talking to her about the network.
Yeah. Me too.
You know, definitely put her on the board with us.
Yeah.
I mean, matter of fact, she's always been around. I've known that. But I need to get off my own derriere and talk to her about it, because she loves helping, giving, is blessed. You know, I mean, you're giving out from your heart.
Yeah,
and I see it's coming back.
A labor of love. It's just
yes.
It's a huge labor of love. Yes. The literary community has been so wonderful. Back in 2013, me and my kids, we suffered a fire. So we lost everything in less than 8 minutes. The whole house just burned down. Not enough to get anything out. If it wasn't in my car or in my purse, we lost it. And that overnight, we stayed at my dad's house, and someone sent out a Facebook message and a Twitter message and said, well, if Sylvia has ever helped you out, you know, just donate anything, any change that you got, just donate it. And I knew, like, after the fire, I checked my account, I had like maybe 68 cents to my name. Like, literally,
Wow.
I was laid off, you know, I had, and that's when the government had shut down. So I didn't have any checks coming in at all. So literally, I had 68 cents to my name. That morning, my son, we were getting ready. We were trying to go to the Red Cross. We were trying to, you know, do something because we had absolutely nothing. We were still wearing the same clothes. We still smelled like barbecue, you know. We were, you know, I was trying not to have a nervous breakdown, you know. And, you know, we're trying to get out the house. And I'm like, everybody put on your shoes and coat and let's go. We got to go. And my son kept saying, Ma. And then finally, you know, I was like, get your shoes on. Let's go. And I'm walking out the door. And he's like, Sylvia. And I did that, you know, you're talking to me kind of thing, like, what are you saying my full name for? And he says, Ma, I have no shoes. And, you know, literally that impacted me because not being able to provide, you know, that one thing, you know, you should be able to give your child shoes. And I looked at my phone so I wouldn't have a nervous breakdown. So I'm just opening up the old screen, the last screen I was on. And it just happened to be my PayPal account. And overnight, I had received over $1,000 from friends who just knew, you know, from my literary organization that just said, hey, here's $2, here's $1, here's $5. You know, and people were just giving because they said if, you know, I had helped them out, you know, they appreciate it. And it was a wonderful thing to see, like, you know, all those years of helping people out. You know, we were getting something back from that, and it was just a really big blessing. So, you know, I always tell people, give, you know, just give. Even when you don't have anything, just give, because you get it back tenfold. And it was great that my kids got to see that. You know, they got to see that blessing, because, you know, you can tell kids there's blessings out there, there's grace, there's favor. But when they see it happening through your passion, you know, from showing them, you know, my love for literary, this is what we got. So that was the best thing. I don't know, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. We'll leave it off on that note. And everybody, you know what? Again, I want you to come back on the show. We are definitely going to talk. We're going to talk. And Sylvia Hubbard, everybody, Sylvia Hubbard, with the book titled Beautiful. So go out and get one. Excellent, it's going to blow your mind.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll leave from here. God bless, and we'll see y'all next week.
There's a place inside my mind unseen, dreams of you and I that just can't be, but I can keep them safe and locked away inside. In a perfect world where I control it, give me your heart there and I would hold it. But I know that just can't be reality. But please, don't you wake my daydream, 'cause it's so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. If you said to jump, then I will do it. Right into the fire and walk straight through it. If you knew, I bet that's just what you would say. I guess the only thing for me to do is never let you know just how I'm feeling, 'cause I don't want to know if you don't feel the same. It's a shame. daydream, 'cause it's so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. Daydream, daydream. There's a place inside my mind unseen, dreams of you and I that just can't be, but I can keep them safe and locked away inside, inside. But don't you wake my daydream. Oh, so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. Don't you wake my daydream.